My friend, have you ever wondered why people act the way they do? Why someone smiles at you one day but ignores you the next? Why some people love you when you succeed and secretly dislike you when you fail? The truth is, human behavior is one of the most fascinating mysteries of life. If you learn how to understand people, their emotions, their motivations, their fears, you can change your entire life. You'll be able to connect deeply, avoid unnecessary pain, and even influence others with calm confidence. But most people never try to understand others. They react, they judge, they assume. And because of that, they live in confusion and disappointment. Today, we're going to uncover 9 powerful secrets that will help you truly understand human behavior. And once you do, life will feel much clearer, calmer, and easier to handle. So stay with me until the end. You're about to learn something that can completely change how you see the world. Welcome back to English Achieve, where you improve your English and your mind every single day. Secret 1. People act from emotion, not logic. Let's begin with one of the deepest truths about human behavior. People act from emotion, not logic. It doesn't matter how smart, educated, or experienced someone is. In the end, emotions control most decisions. Logic may appear to lead, but emotion is always the true driver. Every word, every reaction, every choice we make is touched by the feelings we hold inside. Think about it carefully. When someone criticizes you unfairly, do you pause and think, "Let me evaluate this logically"? Number. You instantly feel hurt, angry, or defensive. When someone praises you, you don't sit down to analyze their motive. You feel warm and happy right away. This shows how emotions lead our behavior before logic even has a chance to speak. Human beings are emotional first, rational second. Even the calmest person you know is not free from emotional influence. Behind every business decision, every relationship, every dream, there are emotions shaping the path. Fear makes people avoid opportunities. Pride makes them argue even when they know they are wrong. Love makes them forgive mistakes they never thought they could. Jealousy makes them dislike others who have done nothing to harm them. All these emotions control actions far more than facts or reason. Now, when you truly understand this, your whole perspective on people begins to change. You stop being surprised by their unpredictable behavior. You start asking better questions. Instead of thinking, "Why is this person being rude?" you start asking, "What emotion is controlling them right now?" Maybe it's insecurity, maybe it's fear, maybe they are trying to protect their fragile self-image. Once you can see the emotion behind the action, the mystery disappears. You start to understand, and understanding brings peace. This is why emotionally intelligent people are often the calmest ones in the room. They don't take things personally. When someone attacks them with words, they recognize it's not really about them. It's about the other person's emotional state. Maybe that person feels powerless, unheard, or jealous. Recognizing this helps you respond with calmness instead of anger. Let's look at an example. Imagine a coworker criticizes your work in front of everyone. Most people would react defensively or feel humiliated. But if you understand that human behavior is driven by emotion, you'll pause and think, "What's really happening here?" Maybe this person feels threatened by your success. Maybe they crave attention or respect. Once you see that, You don't get pulled into their emotional storm. You remain centered. That's the power of understanding emotion. On the other hand, think about how this knowledge can improve your relationships. When you realize people act from emotion, you learn to listen more and judge less. Instead of trying to win every argument, you try to understand the feeling behind the words. Often, people don't need advice. They need to feel understood. When you give them that, their emotions calm down, and suddenly, logic can enter the conversation. The truth is, emotion and logic are both important. But emotion always comes first. Logic is the explanation we create after the emotion has acted. People may use logic to justify their choices, but the real reason comes from how they felt at that moment. Once you know this, you gain a quiet kind of power. You stop being controlled by the emotional waves of others, and you start to guide your own emotions wisely. So, my friend, remember this. If you want to understand people, don't listen only to their words. Feel the emotions underneath. Observe their tone, their body language, their reactions. Every human being is moved by invisible feelings: love, fear, pride, pain, and hope. The one who learns to see beyond words, to understand the emotional truth, becomes wise in the ways of human behavior. Because in the end, logic might explain the story, but emotion writes it. Secret 2. Everyone wants to feel important. Every human being deep inside carries a silent but powerful desire: the desire to feel important. It doesn't matter where someone comes from, how rich or poor they are, or what language they speak. This need is universal. People want to feel seen, heard, appreciated, and respected. They want to know that their presence matters, that their voice counts, and that their life has meaning. When you truly understand this, you unlock one of the greatest secrets of human behavior, the secret that builds real connection and influence. When people feel ignored or undervalued, they start to shrink inside. They become distant, defensive, or even angry. You might notice this at work, in friendships, or even in families. A child who feels invisible often misbehaves just to get attention. An employee who feels unappreciated slowly loses motivation. A friend who feels unheard starts pulling away. It's not because these people are bad. It's because their deep emotional need to feel important is not being met. On the other hand, when people feel valued, they open up like flowers under the sun. They trust you, they respect you, and they respond with kindness. That's why one small act of appreciation can completely change someone's mood. A simple thank you, a few words of genuine praise, or even listening with full attention can touch a person's heart more deeply than you can imagine. Making someone feel important doesn't require money, status, or power. It requires awareness. It's about noticing people, not just hearing their words, but truly listening. It's about saying, "I see you" through your actions. When you treat others as if they matter, they begin to believe that they do. And that belief can change their entire outlook on life. Think about the people you admire most. Maybe a teacher, a leader, or a close friend. Chances are they made you feel important. They listened to you when you spoke. They encouraged you when you doubted yourself. They remembered small details about your life. These simple gestures have a powerful impact because they touch the emotional core of being human, the need for recognition and respect. Now let's look at the opposite side. When you make someone feel small, unimportant, or dismissed, they may not always show it directly, but inside, they start to resist you. Even if you are right, they won't want to follow your advice or agree with your ideas. Why? Because emotion always comes before logic. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. When you hurt someone's sense of importance, you close the door to influence. This is why emotionally intelligent people never try to win by force or argument. They win through understanding. They speak with respect, even in disagreement. They notice others' efforts. They make people feel seen. Because when you make others feel important, they not only remember you, they naturally want to cooperate with you. So, my friend, the next time you interact with someone, whether it's your friend, coworker, parent, or even a stranger, pause for a moment and ask yourself, am I making this person feel important or ignored? You might be surprised how small gestures, a smile, eye contact, a sincere compliment, can create lasting goodwill. Human beings are emotional creatures. They don't crave perfection. They crave connection. And connection begins when someone feels valued. When you give others that feeling, you create magic around you. You don't just win people's attention. You win their hearts. So remember, the greatest gift you can give anyone is not money, not advice, not even time. It's the feeling of being truly important. When you give that gift, you touch the soul, and that is something people never forget. Secret 3. People show you who they are through reactions. If you truly want to understand someone's real character, don't pay attention only to their words or behavior when life is comfortable. Instead, watch how they react when things go wrong. It's easy to be kind, polite, and patient when everything is going well. But the true test of a person's nature comes when life challenges them. When they face loss, rejection, criticism, or unexpected change. That's when the mask falls and the real person underneath begins to appear. When life tests people, their reactions reveal everything. When they lose something valuable, do they accept it with calmness or drown in bitterness? When they're criticized, do they listen and learn or attack and defend? When others succeed, do they celebrate or secretly envy? These reactions speak louder than any words could. Because while behavior can be practiced and planned, reactions come straight from the heart, raw, honest, and unfiltered. You can see this truth everywhere. A kind person, when hurt, often becomes more understanding, not cruel. They may feel pain, but they choose compassion over revenge. An insecure person, on the other hand, becomes defensive when challenged. Their fear of being judged makes them fight back instead of listening. And an arrogant person often becomes cruel or dismissive under pressure, revealing the fragile ego behind their confidence. Reactions are emotional fingerprints, unique signs that show what's truly inside a person. This is why emotionally intelligent people spend more time observing than judging. They don't believe everything someone says. They watch how they respond when things get real. Words can be beautiful lies, but reactions never lie. For example, imagine two coworkers facing the same stressful deadline. One becomes frustrated, blames everyone, and spreads negativity. The other stays calm, takes responsibility, and focuses on finding solutions. Both face the same problem, yet their reactions showed entirely different characters. One was led by ego, the other by strength. That's how you learn who is trustworthy, mature, and emotionally stable. But here's the deeper part. This truth doesn't just apply to others, it applies to you too. Your reactions reveal you. When life doesn't go your way, When someone disrespects you, when your plans fail, how do you respond? Do you lose control, or do you stay centered? Do you blame, or do you learn? The moments that test you the most are also the moments that show your true growth. If you want to earn real respect, train yourself to respond, not react. A reaction comes from emotion. A response comes from wisdom. It's the difference between shouting in anger and speaking calmly with purpose. When you stay calm in chaos, people notice. They begin to trust your strength because calmness is rare. Life will always throw challenges your way, not to destroy you, but to show you and others who you really are. Every difficulty is a mirror, reflecting the strength or weakness inside you. When you learn to control your reactions, you gain power over your emotions and, eventually, over your life. So, my friend, the next time life tests you, remember this. Your reaction is your reflection. Don't let anger, fear, or ego speak for you. Be the person who stays calm, kind, and grounded, even when the storm hits. Because that is the mark of true maturity. And that's how you earn real respect in the eyes of others, and most importantly, yourself. Secret 4. People mirror how you treat them. Have you ever noticed that the way you treat others often comes right back to you? It's almost like life holds up a mirror, reflecting your attitude, your energy, and your actions through the people around you. This is because human behavior works like a mirror. Most people, without even realizing it, respond to you based on how you make them feel. If you show kindness, you'll often receive kindness. If you show anger or disrespect, you'll likely face the same energy in return. When you smile at someone, most of the time, they smile back. When you speak gently, people usually reply the same way. But if you're cold, distant, or impatient, others feel that and mirror it unconsciously. This is one of the simplest yet most powerful truths about human interaction. What you give out emotionally, you get back. That's why confident people attract confidence, and respectful people attract respect. Think about this in your daily life. If you want people to trust you, show them honesty. If you want people to listen to you, start by listening to them. If you want to feel loved, give love freely without expecting it first. The energy you give creates the emotional atmosphere you live in. People are not reacting to you by chance. They are reacting to the vibration you send out through your words, actions, and even your body language. The mistake many people make is expecting others to treat them well before they decide to act well themselves. They wait for respect before showing respect, or they wait for warmth before giving kindness. But the truth is, someone has to lead. Real maturity begins when you choose to set the emotional tone, not just follow it. You treat people how you wish to be treated, not necessarily how they treat you. That's emotional leadership. And it's what separates strong, balanced individuals from those who live in constant reaction. Of course, this doesn't mean everyone will always mirror you perfectly. Some people are trapped in their own pain and negativity. But when you consistently stay calm, kind, and respectful, even in the face of their bad behavior, something powerful happens. You remain in control. Their energy doesn't pull you down. Your calmness pulls you up. And over time, many people will begin to soften around you because your presence feels safe and steady. This mirror effect also teaches responsibility. If you find that people around you are often rude, angry, or distant, it's worth looking inward and asking, am I giving off that same energy without realizing it? Sometimes our own stress or frustration leaks out through our tone or attitude, and people respond accordingly. When you become aware of this, you gain the power to change it. The truth is, kindness and respect are not signs of weakness. They are signs of strength. It's easy to copy someone's negative behavior, to respond with anger when you're disrespected. But it takes courage and wisdom to rise above and lead with calmness. Every time you do, you become stronger. So, my friend, remember this simple rule of life. People mirror what they receive. If you want more kindness, give it. If you want more respect, show it. If you want more peace, be it. The energy you send out will always find its way back to you, multiplied. When you understand this, you stop blaming others for how they act and start focusing on the one thing you can always control: how you act. That's the real secret to building harmony, trust, and genuine connection in every part of your life. Secret 5. Everyone has insecurities. It's easy to look at others and think they have it all figured out. The person who walks with confidence, speaks with power, and smiles like life is perfect. You might believe they're free from doubt. But the truth is, even the strongest-looking people carry insecurities deep inside. Every human being, no matter how successful, beautiful, or intelligent they appear, has moments when they question themselves. The person who seems fearless may fear failure. The one who always looks happy may cry when no one is watching. The person who constantly criticizes others might actually be fighting with their own self-worth. Insecurity is a silent shadow that follows everyone. It doesn't matter if someone is rich or poor, famous or unknown. Insecurity lives in the corners of every human mind. It shows up in different ways. Some people try to hide it with arrogance, pretending they're better than others. Some try to cover it with perfectionism, always chasing approval. Others become quiet, afraid to show who they really are because they fear being judged or rejected. And some people try to gain control over others just to feel powerful for a moment. When you understand this, you begin to see people differently. You stop reacting to their behavior, and you start seeing the pain behind it. Think about it. When someone is rude, it's rarely because they are truly strong. It's often because they feel weak inside. When someone mocks others, it's usually because they want to hide their own insecurities. When someone constantly seeks attention, it's because they feel unseen or unloved. These behaviors are not signs of confidence. They are signs of fear. Fear of not being enough. Fear of losing value. Fear of being forgotten. Once you realize this, it changes how you view the world. You stop taking people's negativity personally. You begin to understand that most human conflict is not about you. It's about the pain they carry within themselves. This awareness makes you wiser. You start to respond with calm instead of anger. Instead of fighting back when someone tries to hurt you, you take a step back and ask yourself, what are they struggling with? It doesn't mean you have to accept bad behavior or let people disrespect you, but you choose compassion over hate. Because understanding doesn't make you weak. It makes you emotionally intelligent. It shows that you have matured enough to see beyond appearances. You realize that hurt people often hurt others, not because they are evil, but because they don't know how to heal. When you start looking at people through this lens, life feels lighter. You no longer waste energy being offended by every harsh word or cold look. You understand that everyone is fighting battles you cannot see. Battles of self-doubt, fear, and loneliness. And this realization helps you grow stronger inside. It reminds you to be gentle with others and with yourself. Because just like them, you too have insecurities. And that's okay. You don't have to hide your insecurities to be worthy. You just have to face them with courage. Every time you accept your flaws, you take away their power over you. Every time you show compassion to someone struggling, you make the world a little softer. In the end, true strength is not about being perfect. It's about being real. Understanding that everyone, including you, is doing their best while carrying invisible wounds. And when you see life this way, you stop judging. You start understanding. And that's the beginning of real emotional wisdom. Secret 6. People believe what benefits them. One of the deepest truths about human behavior is this. People rarely believe something because it's true. They believe it because it benefits them emotionally. Most of the time, our beliefs are not built on pure logic or evidence. They're built on what feels comfortable, what supports our self-image, and what protects us from pain. If a belief makes someone feel safe, they'll hold on to it, even if it's false. If the truth challenges their ego or identity, they'll reject it, even if it's right in front of them. This is not because people are foolish, but because human beings are emotional before they are logical. The mind protects itself from pain, just like the body protects itself from injury. Think about how often people defend their opinions, even when they know they might be wrong. Why? Because admitting the truth might make them feel weak, embarrassed, or uncertain. It might shake the foundation of how they see themselves or the world. So, instead of facing discomfort, they build walls. Emotional walls made of excuses, justifications, and denial. This is why people believe lies that make them feel good and reject truths that make them uncomfortable. It's easier to protect the heart than to challenge the mind. You can see this everywhere. In relationships, politics, work, and even personal growth. A person who wants to feel superior may believe that others are lazy or inferior because that belief supports their ego. Someone who fears responsibility may convince themselves that life is unfair, so they don't have to try harder. A person in a toxic relationship may believe this is love, because accepting the truth, that it's unhealthy, would hurt too much. People don't cling to ideas for truth. They cling to ideas for comfort. Understanding this makes you much wiser in dealing with others. When you realize that emotion drives belief, you stop wasting time trying to convince people with logic alone. Facts rarely change hearts. Feelings do. If you want to truly influence someone, don't attack their beliefs directly. Instead, understand what emotional need that belief is protecting. Maybe it's fear of failure, fear of rejection, or fear of losing control. Speak to that fear first. Make them feel safe enough to see things differently. This isn't manipulation. It's empathy in action. It means you're wise enough to connect with people where they are, not where you wish they were. This is why great leaders, teachers, and communicators don't just share information. They connect emotionally. They know that before people can hear the truth, they need to feel understood. Once you make someone feel seen and respected, their heart opens. And when their heart opens, their mind follows. That's when real transformation happens. So remember, truth doesn't always win in an argument. The louder you argue, the more people resist. Truth wins quietly. when someone feels emotionally safe enough to face it. You don't need to fight to prove you're right. Just plant the seed gently and let time and understanding do the rest. The people who once rejected your truth may one day come back and realize you were right all along. Not because you forced them, but because they finally felt ready to see it. Understanding that people believe what benefits them will save you a lot of frustration. It teaches you patience, empathy, and wisdom. You stop expecting everyone to see things the way you do. You stop arguing to win and start communicating to connect. And when you master this, you'll move through life with calm confidence, knowing that influence doesn't come from shouting the truth, but from understanding the human heart. Secret 7. People project their inner world. Here's a powerful truth about human behavior that will change how you see people forever. The way others treat you often says more about what's inside them than about you. Every person you meet is living inside their own world, shaped by their past experiences, beliefs, and emotions. When they interact with you, they don't just see you, they see a reflection of themselves. This is what psychologists call projection. People project their inner world onto the outer world. They interpret others through the lens of their own fears, desires, and insecurities. A kind-hearted person, for example, tends to see kindness in others. They assume people mean well because that's what exists inside them. But a suspicious or insecure person will often assume others have bad intentions. They see betrayal even where there is loyalty. A jealous person sees competition everywhere, even when no one is competing with them. A controlling person assumes others are trying to control them. The truth is, we all see the world not as it is, but as we are. Once you understand this, your emotional life becomes much easier. You stop taking people's words and actions so personally. When someone criticizes you harshly or treats you unfairly, you realize it's not always about you. Often, it's about the storm that's going on inside them. Maybe they feel inferior, angry, or unseen. So they project that pain outward, trying to make someone else feel small, because that temporarily makes them feel big. People who gossip are often lonely. People who constantly judge others are usually judging themselves the hardest. When you see through this, you'll find compassion instead of resentment. This doesn't mean you should tolerate mistreatment. It simply means you choose not to absorb someone else's negativity. You can stay calm and detached, knowing that their behavior reflects their inner wounds, not your worth. Imagine someone throwing mud at a clean mirror. The mirror doesn't fight back. It stays still until the mud falls away. You can be that mirror. Stay centered in your peace and let others reveal who they are. The more emotionally mature you become, the more clearly you'll see this pattern in life. You'll begin to recognize projection everywhere. In families, friendships, workplaces, and even online. Someone accuses others of lying because they lie. Someone constantly complains that no one respects them because they secretly don't respect themselves. Someone mocks success because deep down, they feel unsuccessful. The world is full of mirrors, and every interaction is a reflection. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their drama, pause. Don't respond with anger. Take a deep breath and remind yourself, this is not about me. This is their inner world showing itself. That single awareness will protect your peace like a shield. You'll stop fighting battles that aren't yours. You'll stop trying to change people who aren't ready to see their own reflection. When you master this understanding, you gain true emotional freedom. You stop letting others' darkness pull you into their storm. You learn to walk with quiet confidence, knowing who you are and what energy you carry. Keep your heart clean, your intentions kind, and your boundaries firm. Because no matter what others project, you always have the power to reflect light. Secret 8. People change when they are ready, not when you want. One of the most challenging lessons in understanding human behavior is realizing this simple truth. You cannot change someone who isn't ready to change. No matter how much advice you give, how many books you share, or how passionately you try to inspire them, change must come from within. It cannot be forced from the outside. Many people spend their lives trying to fix others, trying to make a friend more responsible, a colleague more motivated, or a partner more understanding. But the truth is, real transformation is an inside job, and it only happens when the person is prepared to take the first step for themselves. It's easy to fall into the trap of control. We see someone struggling and think that if we just push hard enough or show them the right path, they'll follow it. But forcing change never works. It leads to frustration, disappointment, and even resentment. People may nod along, follow instructions superficially, or pretend to understand, but without genuine readiness, nothing lasts. True growth cannot be rushed. It is patient, personal, and deeply internal. Instead of trying to control others, focus on leading by example. Your own calm energy, discipline, and steady growth communicate far more than words ever could. When people see someone living with integrity, positivity, and purpose, they are inspired not because they are told to be better, but because they want to feel that same inner strength themselves. Your actions become a mirror that shows them a life they may aspire to, but only when they are ready. Until then, forcing change only pushes them away. This is also a lesson in patience. Some people may walk with you for a season, some for a lifetime, and some may drift away. When you grow and evolve, your energy changes, and naturally, some people are not able to keep up. That's okay. Life is about cycles, about allowing people to come and go as they align with their own journey. Your role is not to drag anyone along, but to remain steady in your own path. Your consistency and authenticity become the guiding light, not your pressure or judgment. It's important to remember that your energy affects others more than your advice. A calm, centered person is contagious. People feel safe around them. They observe the peace, confidence, and focus in your life and begin to question their own patterns. But they only make the shift when they are ready to confront their own fears, excuses, and limitations. Until that moment comes, trying to force them only creates tension and frustration. So, my friend, stop wasting energy on controlling or fixing others. Be patient. Be an example. Focus on your growth, your mindset, and your discipline. When you rise, some people will rise with you, inspired by your energy and consistency. Some will fall away, and that is perfectly natural. This is not rejection. It is the flow of life. Every person has their own timing. The wisdom lies in understanding that you can influence, but you cannot control. You can inspire, but you cannot force. Real change is always an inside job, and the best thing you can do is remain steady, strong, and true to yourself, while others find their own readiness to grow. Secret 9. Understanding others begins with understanding yourself. Finally, we arrive at the most powerful secret of all. You cannot truly understand others until you understand yourself. Human behavior is complex, but the first step to clarity is self-awareness. Every emotion you feel, every reaction you have toward someone else, is a reflection of your own inner world. If you feel irritated by someone's confidence, perhaps it is revealing your own insecurities. If you feel jealous of someone's freedom or success, maybe you are trapped by your own fears or limitations. If criticism wounds you deeply, it may be pointing to areas where you have not fully accepted yourself. Understanding these patterns is not just helpful, it is essential. Self-awareness is the foundation of emotional intelligence. When you know your own triggers, fears, and desires, you no longer need to blame others for your emotions. You realize that your feelings are yours to manage. The world becomes a mirror rather than a battlefield. For example, if someone interrupts you in conversation, instead of reacting with anger, you might pause and ask yourself, why does this feel so triggering? Perhaps it touches on a fear of being ignored, undervalued, or disrespected. Once you recognize the root inside yourself, you can respond with calmness instead of reacting impulsively. This shift changes everything in your relationships and interactions. Understanding yourself also helps you see the hidden motivations in others. When you have explored your own patterns, you start to recognize similar patterns in those around you. You begin to notice how fear drives actions, how pride masks insecurity, and how pain creates resistance. Your empathy grows because you understand that, just like you, everyone has their struggles, their shadows, and their moments of doubt. When you master yourself, you can see clearly without judgment, and that is the essence of understanding human behavior. Self-mastery is not about perfection. It is about awareness. It is about acknowledging your own flaws and strengths with honesty. The more you study your own mind, your habits, your emotional responses, your fears, and your triggers, the less control others' behaviors have over you. You learn to respond with intentionality rather than react impulsively. You take responsibility for your happiness, your peace, and your growth. And when you operate from this place of self-understanding, you naturally develop patience, compassion, and insight into others' actions. Think of it this way. Human behavior is a puzzle, but self-awareness provides the key to solving it. When you stop projecting your fears onto others, stop assuming people are acting to harm you, and stop reacting from your unresolved emotions, life becomes clearer. You begin to see that people's actions are often about their inner world, just as your actions are about yours. You stop being caught in unnecessary conflict, frustration, or resentment. Instead, you move through life with calm clarity. So, my friend, the journey to understanding others begins inside. Explore your mind, face your insecurities, observe your reactions, and accept your feelings. Self-awareness allows you to interpret the world more accurately and respond with wisdom. When you truly know yourself, you no longer need to guess the motives of others. You see them with clarity, compassion, and understanding. Master yourself, and human behavior no longer feels mysterious. It becomes an open book, one you can read with insight, patience, and emotional strength. Final words. The power of understanding. My friend, understanding human behavior is one of the most powerful skills you can develop. And it's not about judging, criticizing, or trying to control others. It's about learning how people think, feel, and act so that you can respond with wisdom instead of reacting blindly. When you truly understand human behavior, you stop being easily hurt by words or actions. You stop taking things personally. You stop expecting everyone to act the way you would, and that freedom changes everything. Life becomes less stressful, more peaceful, and far more manageable. Understanding people also teaches you compassion. You begin to see that most people are neither good nor bad. They are simply human, emotional, imperfect, and learning through their own experiences, just like you. Once you see this, you stop blaming, resenting, or judging. You start observing, understanding, and responding from a place of calm rather than frustration. This awareness makes you stronger emotionally, mentally, and socially. Here at English Achieve, we believe that improving your understanding of human behavior is as important as improving your English or your mindset. When you master the way people think and act, you naturally improve your relationships, your communication, and your own inner peace. You learn to respond with patience, to listen with empathy, and to act with clarity. This skill helps you navigate life with confidence and strength, no matter the challenges you face. So, my friend, be the person who understands, not the one who blames. Be the person who sees beneath the surface, not just at appearances. Be the person who leads with kindness, calmness, and integrity. Because when you understand others, you hold the key to better relationships, greater peace, and a stronger heart. That, my friend, is not just understanding human behavior. It is mastering the art of being truly human. Thank you for watching English Achieve, where you improve your English, your thinking, and your life. If this lesson inspired you, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who wants to understand people and themselves more deeply.